Alright, welcome back to My Father's Dragon. We're on chapter 5. My father meets some... Yeah, I'm not going to tell you. We're just going to read. The river was very wide and muddy, and the jungle was very gloomy and dense. The trees grew close to each other, and what room there was between them was taken up by great high ferns with sticky leaves. My father hated to leave the beach, but he decided to start along the riverbank, where at least the jungle wasn't quite so thick. He ate 3 tangerines, making sure to keep all the peels this time, remember the last time, and put on his rubber boots. My father tried to follow the riverbank, but it was very swampy. Swampy means that the ground was very soft and mushy and full of water, and so, as you can imagine, it's not very easy to walk in because you sink a lot. And as he went farther, the swamp became deeper. When it was almost as deep as his boot tops, he got stuck in the oozy, mucky mud. My father tugged and nearly pulled his boots right off, but at last he managed to wade to a drier place. Here the jungle was so thick, he could hardly see where the river was. He unpacked his compass and figured out the direction he should walk in order to stay near the river. But he didn't know that the river made a very sharp curve away from him, just a little way beyond. And so, as he walked straight ahead, he was getting farther and farther away from the river. So he thinks the river just keeps going, so he's like, yay, gonna go in a straight line, but the river curves, and he keeps going. It was very hard to walk in the jungle. The sticky leaves of the ferns caught at my father's hair, and he kept tripping over roots and rotten logs. Sometimes, the trees were clumped so closely together he couldn't squeeze between them, and had to walk a long way around. He began to hear whispery noises, but he couldn't see any animals anywhere. The deeper into the jungle he went, the surer he was that something was following him. And he thought he heard whispery noises on both sides of him, as well as behind. He tried to run, but he tripped over more roots, and the noises only came nearer. Once or twice, he thought he heard something laughing at him. At last, he came out into a clearing and ran right into the middle of it, so he could see anything that might try to attack him. Was he surprised when he looked and saw 14 green eyes coming out of the jungle all around the clearing. And when the green eyes turned into 7 tigers. The tigers walked all around him in a big circle, looking hungrier all the time, and then they sat down and began to talk. I suppose you thought we didn't know you were trespassing in our jungle. Then the next tiger spoke. I suppose you're going to say you didn't know it was our jungle. Did you know that not one explorer has ever left this island alive? Said the third tiger. My father thought of the cat and knew this wasn't true, but of course he had too much sense to say so. One doesn't contradict a hungry tiger. The tigers went on talking in turn. You're our first little boy, you know. I'm curious to see if you're especially tender. Maybe you think we have regular meal times, but we don't. We just eat whenever we're feeling hungry, said the 5th tiger. And we're very hungry now. In fact, I can hardly wait, said the 6th. I can't wait, said the 7th tiger. And then all the tigers said together in a loud roar, "Let's begin right now!" and moved in closer. My father looked at those 7 hungry tigers. And then he had an idea. He quickly opened his knapsack and took out the chewing gum. The cat had told him that tigers were especially fond of chewing gum, which was very scarce on the island. Scarce means that you can't really find it anywhere. So he threw them each a piece, but they only growled. "As fond as we are of chewing gum, we're sure we'd like you even better." And they moved so close he could feel them breathing on his face. But this is very special chewing gum," said my father. If you keep on chewing it long enough, it will turn green. And then if you plant it, it will grow more chewing gum. And the sooner you start chewing, the sooner you'll have more. Can you plant chewing gum to make more chewing gum? Do the tigers know that? This is a clever boy, isn't he? The tigers said, "Why, you don't say! Isn't that fine?" And as each one wanted to be the first one to plant the chewing gum, they all unwrapped their pieces and began chewing as hard as they could. Every once in a while, one tiger would look into another's mouth and say, "Nope, not done yet." Until finally, they were all so busy looking into each other's mouths to make sure no one was getting ahead, they all forgot about my father. Look at all the tigers chewing gum. Isn't that great? What a clever thing to do. He's quite a clever boy. I don't know if I would have thought of doing that with chewing gum with the tigers. I wonder what you would have thought of if you'd been there. Well, he got away from the tigers successfully. I wonder what he'll find next time. We'll see you then. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and do your homework.